Afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Craig Jamieson. I'm in Boise, Idaho, and welcome to Taters and Shrimps on the Barbie. I'm joined today by my co-host over my left shoulder here, Mr. Potato Head. Of course, Mr. Potato Head, though, he's told me right before the show that he's not getting enough money, he's not getting enough screen time, so he's decided he's not going to talk anymore. So I'm forced to go all the way to Australia to pick up Mr. Ross Keating from Queensland, Australia. So Ross will be my co-host today and every other day. So Ross, please take a minute to introduce yourself.
Thanks, Craig. And see, I told you, you pay peanuts and you get potatoes.
There you go. That's right.
And people often ask me, why have we called the show Taters and Shrimps on the Barbie? Well, Craig comes from Boise, Idaho. There's the best potatoes in the world are grown in Boise, Idaho, I understand. And right. Down in the Australia here and on the Gold Coast particularly, we grow prawns, really big ones. But unfortunately, Craig only knows about shrimps, which are the little ones. So we decided to stick what he knows best, and we call it Taters and Shrimps. So there you go. That's how we came up with the name. But I'm Ross Keating, the founder of Nextree Business Growth Consultancy here on the Gold Coast, Australia, servicing Australia and up into North America as well. And I can only do 5 things for businesses, and I can help them increase their sales, reduce the expenses, get more bang for the marketing buck, increase the productivity and the efficiency of themselves and the teams, and ultimately make more profits. So that's where I'm working coming from, and we talk about, and I talk about a variety of things from strategic business strategies and plans right through to using customer relationship management systems and other technology to get that overall profitability and efficiencies in the business. So that's for me, Craig. I just love doing this show and trying to give people how they can discover and find out more about ways to improve their business.
Okay, great. Well, unlike Ross, I'm a pretty simple guy. My area of expertise, if I have one, is actually in sales. I've been in B2B sales management going back to 1977, and that includes ownership positions, primarily management. But I'll tell you what, I have more fun selling than doing anything else. Managing salespeople, if you've ever done that, that's not much fun. It's like, the proverbial herding of cats. But at any rate, what we do on this show is we talk about business revenue and growth hacks. We talk about CRM. Ross and I both represent a CRM product called Nimble. But when we talk about CRM, we're talking about generalities. Certainly there's, we had a gentleman on a few weeks back. He's like the world's oldest living CRM analyst. And we asked Rich Bond, asked him, how many CRMs are there on the market? What do you say, like 10,000 or something like that?
Yeah, well, I know G2 is something like
and most of them will do some of the basics in some fashion, but obviously there's a lot to choose from. So what we're talking about isn't magic here. But certainly if you got questions, please leave them for us in the comments. We'll get back to you. You're going to see scrolling along the bottom here opportunities to link up with Ross and myself for a free 30-minute consultation if you'd like to talk about your business. But today we're going to be talking about getting more bang for your marketing buck. And who doesn't want more bang for their buck? Now, our resident marketing expert, which isn't me, and it isn't Mr. Potato Head, it would be Mr. Ross Keating. So we're going to let him lead off here with this discussion. So take it away, Ross.
Hey, Craig, thanks very much. And I wouldn't call myself, I never say that I'm a marketing person. I'm a dangerous beast. I know a bit in detail about a lot of important parts of business, marketing being one. But one of the things I do want to emphasize, Craig and I do talk about CRMs, and we talk about Nimble CRM, one of the best CRMs in the world. But the key part about it, a CRM is only a tool to implement your strategies and your plans and your processes and help your teams to be more product and efficient. And this is what it really is all about. And from that perspective, I want to emphasize that we want to bring to you the tips and hacks and ideas that can improve the business. And you can use tools like Nimble CRM and the other ones that are on the market. As we just alluded to, there are hundreds of, if not thousands, of CRMs, marketing automation tools, and everything in between. So when I look at it, and one of the biggest things that I get into with businesses when we're looking at it is how do they do their sales? And they're so focused on getting the sales sometimes that they forget about the bigger, broader picture, is that it's about relationships. People say it's only a numbers game. To get more yeses, all you got to do is get more leads. Well, yes, you do. But what happens if you're wasting a lot of leads if you're only getting 3 out of 10? And so today I want to talk about ways to do that. We did that last time with the other show with Craig. We talked about vertical markets and how by focusing on vertical markets, the electronic sign industry and also the tourism industry, how you could use those as the examples of vertical markets. And then there's sub-markets within the verticals. But then what do you do? And a lot of people focus on the email communication. And yes, that is really important. But it's really about the people, about personalizing your communications all the time. And there's far more effect and benefits from understanding what your market is, what businesses are in your market, and who are in those businesses and what positions that they hold, and what information and how do you communicate with them. And that's where a CRM helps you become super efficient. And I like to think about it. At first, you've got a whole database. You've got to build your database. And it can be, for some people I know, have got less than a couple of hundred people in their business, in their market or in their database, and they make a good living out of it. But there are others who've got 10 companies, they've got tens, thousands, and millions of records in their databases. And in between, the whole idea is to get more bang for your marketing buck. And you can do that using a CRM to help you segment it down. I just want to use my CRM, Nimble CRM, as a bit of an example. Now, I'm not going into depth here. I just want to show you the concepts. Craig, you should be just confirm that you can see Nimble CRM on the screen for you.
I can see that.
Good stuff. Well, look, as people can see, I've got 5,500 contacts in my database. That includes people and companies. Okay, so let's just narrow it down a bit and see what it brings down into there. So using different, I don't want to get into the minutiae of how to create groups, but we can get that number down and we can get the number of people. And here's, because we're using video today, the system is struggling for bandwidth to create this, but it's bringing it down into around about 2,500 people are in my database, a bit over that. And that to me is great. I can send out an email to all those people, but also when you're talking about bang for your buck, is the other forms of communication, your Facebook, your LinkedIn. But if you've got that in the database, you can go to their records very easily on that. And there we go, 2,900 people are in my database. But I don't want to necessarily send to all those people. If I want to be efficient about this, we want to be able to segment them down into different ways. And it may be, I do have people that have agreed to take my newsletter. Okay, so and here we go. You can sort of see here, I've got, I don't know how many segments. Some are one-off segments. I've never used them again. I haven't bothered to delete them. And others I use all the time, and I've marked them as favorites. So there are people there that have agreed to receive my regular newsletter. And that does change. And people say, oh, people unsubscribe from my newsletter. It's a really good idea that they do unsubscribe, because there's no point sending them information that is not relevant to them. And if they're not interested, that's fine. Doesn't mean, unless they say don't ever contact me by any whatever means, doesn't mean that you lose them. It just means that they don't want to receive your newsletter. It's not a benefit to them. And by, like Craig and I were saying, working and building these segments up, maybe through industry verticals or industry or positions within organizations that may be there. See, I've got 320 that I've gone out to and got people who have subscribed to my regular newsletter. Now, if I go down further, I'll use an example here of HR recruitment, and I've got a little subset here that I use. So there's 320 out of 2,900 people, and by segmenting it using different criteria, we'll end up with a group of around about, I hope, 16 or 17. And Craig and I are anytime hopeful that we'd be more than happy to help you understand how to do that. It doesn't have to be with Nibble CRM. We can talk to you about your other CRMs as well to help you make use of them. The key is to make use of them. There we go. We've got 11 in this particular segment, and I know I dropped out. Craig, have you got anything you want to say while I'm going through here? Do you use your database a bit like this?
Well, absolutely. I don't have, I haven't created near as many segments as you have. You've created a lot of segments, but basically and I do the exact same thing with my newsletter. I send out a newsletter to my clients every month, and I do that through Nimble. But what we're talking about here is that we've all been exposed to mass marketing. And I mean, all you got to do is open up your inbox every day, and you've got all these offers coming in from all over the place. And you're getting them on, text messaging, you're getting phone calls, you're getting emails. It's showing up a lot. I'm getting a lot of direct messages in LinkedIn, for example. I'm getting a lot of spam on LinkedIn too, which doesn't make me real happy. But you're getting all this mass marketing that really doesn't take into, and people are trying to sell me things that have absolutely no relationship to my business. Now, why are they doing that? They're not taking the time to target their message to people that are going to have a higher degree of wanting to hear that information and are going to have a higher likelihood of investing in their services. And I mean, I get it if you're selling I don't even get it if you're selling like nickel widgets, but if you're selling anything that requires any kind of an investment, why you're not targeting and personalizing and giving relevant messaging is beyond me. And that's what Ross is doing here. You're going to get such a higher ratio. It's all about the ratios. It's not the quantity, it's the quality. It's the ratios that we're after here. So Ross, I'll let you continue on. Thank you.
Thanks. And this is what it's about. These people in this database, in this segment of my database, there's only 11 showing up in there, and you can gather there's more than 11 in the HR recruitment field, but I feel I can those. Now, one of the things I can do is send them a personalized email. Personalization increases the open rates. It increases the response rates when you can personalize it and put their name to it. So from that point of view, it's really a critical way of doing it. So what I've got here, I've got these 11 people, and I'm just going to deselect a couple of people from there and say, well, I don't actually want to send them this particular message. And then you're able to send them an email. And in Nimble's case, it goes from your outbox to their inbox. And we've got this group here, and I can show all the recipients here. And I'm going to send them a templated newsletter or email that I've got set up. Oh, there we go there. So this is a template that I can send out to certain individuals, and you can see here, hi, hey, first name, whatever the new information is. But I'm only use their first name and then personalize it. Now, I'll leave it to the marketing and this specialist to say whether you should be using text and what message you should be sending, but this gives it here. And from there, I can actually track the message and get open and close rates. So let's say that I have set that. What you want to be able to do then is use the email, and just bear with me, I'm using two screens, multitasking. Once that email is sent, like any marketing automation aspect, you want to know how many you sent, when the last activity was, and what was the open rate. And you can see here, and just on this group of emails here about different subjects, a lot of them, it's more than 60% open rate of the emails. And I was reading something yesterday which said that the average open rate for a general newsletter is now somewhere between 15 to 20%. Yet on these emails, regardless of the size, and they are small groups, but by sending it to small groups, I'm getting a far better open rate. Is it not better to get a better open rate and from there? Because you're a better start. And once you go that, you know how many people have clicked on the links and where they are. Now, if I click into this particular one here, this is about the bank personality profiling tool. If you want an assessment, I'm able to then be able to see what the percentage of the open rate, what is the click rate, how many are unread, and then I might use that and sort of say, well, okay, I'm only going to have a look at the people. I want to know who hasn't opened it, and then I can make contact with those people and ring them and say, hey, did you get my email the other day? Just wondering if you've got any questions. And I might be able to find out why it wasn't open. But I'm never going to say, hey, I see you haven't opened my email. Why not? And the comment.
I say, what's up with that? The other thing you can do, and I don't know if you do this, Ross, is if you've got somebody here like, I look at Kathy and I look at Carol here, and for that matter, Angela and, look at Barbara. She's opened it 6 times.
Yeah.
That tells me she might be hot. So just put a check mark next to her.
Yeah.
And then let's assign a tag that says, add the tag that's hot to her. Up top there, add tag.
And create a new tag and a segment within a segment.
Yeah, because here's one of the things you can do. You got people that are obviously opening a lot. They're obviously showing some interest. You may want to follow up with them immediately. That's another thing you can do.
Yeah. And what I often do is I'll ring them up and say, hey, did you get my email the other day? Go wonder if you've got any questions or you'd like to discuss a bit further. I'm not going to say, hey, I see you opened it 6 times. But that's what you can do with it. And I find this is a really great way of keeping in contact. And then you can look at the social media, because a lot of the CRMs now work across social media, and particularly Nimble helps you to work wherever you are, and you can send that, and you can look at their social media, maybe send them a message. So I just wanted to take people through that aspect of how you use a CRM. Now, I know where you and I are biased, we love Nimble. But in this particular case, I wanted to show that you can get more bang for your marketing buck, you can be more efficient, and you can help your clients and customers be more efficient by only sending them information that's relevant to them. So that's where the efficiency passes down the line. And then you will make more sales because you will identify the real key pain points and hot points for them. And you might even be able to target it by their personality. An action person wants the best and the brightest and fun, action, excitement, and it'll help them win more. A blueprint, a person who is more into structure and processes may want to understand the background. And so you can target your communications even down to personality if you had that information. So, Craig, that's where it is. That's how you can get more bang for your buck and get.
Well, that personality information that can be part of their contact record as far as that goes too.
Just did right, and
all that information there.
I do have that. Sneaky.
You could segment it down further. You could say, I have a message that's designed for people that are high B in your bank system. Show me everybody that meets this criteria, and send them the high B message. Right?
Well, it's funny you should say that. In fact, you would have received an email the other day about an event that's coming up with bank, where I actually sent an email that had different text based on your personality type. So for you as an action person, you got a different text.
I noticed it said that. I noticed it said that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. There you go. More bang for your buck.
So, Craig, thanks for being patient with me, letting me hog this session. But if you've got any points you want to make,
No, I think that's you did it. You did it real well. There's just having the ability to segment. There's so many other things you can do too. I mean, you showed the segments, but depending on what your particular business needs are, you can segment. You can get very, very granular. You can get very detailed and narrow it down as close as you want, or you make it as wide as you want, depending on what your particular needs are. But once again, think about all the junk you get every day through phone, through text, through email, through social, and don't do any of that. Right? Do the opposite.
that's right.
Send out a good message. I mean, half the messages that I get are to hey you, or it's dear adaptive-business.com, or because in LinkedIn, my name, I use my middle initial. So it's my first name in LinkedIn is Craig, middle initial M. So I get Dear Craig M, which is a dead giveaway right there, So, I mean, take the time to do it right. If you're going to send the message, I mean, have a good chance that it's going to be received in the manner that you'd like it to be received. And, frankly, you're not going to piss somebody off, which is what people usually end up doing with me. But, I'm grumpy anyway. So with that, I think that's all the time we got for today, Ross. So once again, folks, thank you so much for joining us. And please reach out to us with any kind of questions or comments. We'd love to hear from you. And we'll look forward to seeing you on the next go round. Ross, say goodbye.
Thanks very much. And I hope people have enjoyed this episode of Taters and Shrimps on the Barbie from the Gold Coast of Australia and Boise, Idaho.
Take care. Bye-bye now.
Bye for now.